All right, good morning, everybody. More great news to report. Within the second day, I could feel the weight difference of this baby. And we're calling him Teddy Bear, or Theodore. Ted, hi baby. And I got the warm medication, the full doses into him, and he's eating regularly, and the BMs started to get solid yesterday, and he's potty training very, very easily. He's an incredibly smart dog and responsive and just playful, loving, engaging. One of my viewers, thank you very much, said this dog, I don't know if he's full blood, but definitely I would think after reviewing the pictures, is a Nova Scotia tolling retriever. And in Canada, they're used for bird hunting. So he is on his way to recovery. He's drinking good, eating good, sleeping with me. I've discovered I sleep much better on the floor than I do in a bed. So, anybody want a bed and a puppy, come to my place. All right, I've got some seed stuff to show you, and I did a hand pollination on the cucumber this morning. And here we are. In my hand, I have the rare bronze arrow lettuce. And if you remember, my fall crop, only but a few plants had been decimated by the squirrels. So, as I often do when I really want to make sure in my first round with a rare variety, I often put it closer to the house or even in pots or cage it to make sure nothing happens to it. And 3 lettuce plants is not a good seed stock. Now, as you can see, that's plenty of seeds. This is, about twice as much as you'd get from a seed company. But there's only 3 specimens here. And I haven't even begun to touch the seeds that these 3 plants will produce. But I don't feel comfortable with 3. So these will be marked that it just came from the 3 specimens, and I will be sure to grow this variety come fall and get that to seed. I may or may not mix it. Lettuce seed is one of those that is known to fade quickly. But I've also remarked that my germination rate on is a lot better than the seed companies too. So I have a new round of Mediterranean tomatoes that just sprouted, and Marians and eggplant. I still have quite a few more empty pots. I'm also doing a test germination on Florida Betony seed, and this is the first of the blackberries, which I've never seen so early, and it's a very low-lying bush, and there were 2 distinct types berries. One was really plump and round, and the other one was more oblong. So I did the seed collection on that, and I'm going to try to sprout those from seed. I'm already crazy with the basil pinching of trying to stop it from going to seed and have the plant fill out. This is my overwintered, and as you can see, he's got a lot of bare spots on it because he got leggy indoors, but that's no big deal. And he's sprouting from all over the place, and he is in the pot with the Principe Borghese. This is the Italian sun-dried tomato, and I'm keeping some plants and did the garden right here by the deck for all of my quicker matures, and then out back will be the is more like, the longer stuff, so I don't have to visit it regularly. So the Arugula seed pods are drying out nicely, and with seed pods you have to monitor them because you could lose your entire seeds in a matter of days if they get pests on them. So we have more of those French cantaloupes and the golden Marconi Italian sweet peppers, tomatoes, tobacco, giant Cape gooseberry. There's that Ampius bell pepper, and this is the Oswald eggplant. I'm going to wait till the little guy gets a little bit bigger and then I'll transplant those. And the Thai red Rosellis are getting some size on them. The lime green tobacco up front is, just in a constant state of bloom almost. And they said that this is really grown for its fragrance, and I'm not smelling a very strong fragrance from them. And my nose is pretty sensitive. And there's the first round of the Marconi. We've got nice fruit developing here on the lychee. Seed pods on the turnips. And this is some of the Texas hummingbird sage. Now, if you live in a place where it could be a perennial, this thing gets nice and bushy and quite substantial. And a friend of mine came by and gave me some perilla, I think is how you say it, and it's in the mint family, and it's got a sesame flavor leaf. So that's going to go up here, right there next to the sprinkler system, because I get a lot of that gets extra moisture there because it leaks from the head. And in that pot, I also planted an herb called marshmallow, and marsh is watery, so that's going to get some extra water. The wildflowers I started to thin. There's an awful lot of amaranth in there, and I'm seeing some watermelon volunteers sprout in different places too. And there's the runner bean. I had a date last night and Aiden canceled on me, so I ended up stopping by and visiting a friend of mine, and she's also a gardener, and she just gave me, she's rooting these Confederate rose bushes. So I'm going to put those out back, and they have a very beautiful white bloom that turns pink as it starts to fade and age. There's that bear. There's the Teddy. Hi, Teddy. And he doesn't bark very much either. I tried to get him to bark, but he's not going for it. Here we have beautiful blossoms on the Russian emerald apple. And finally, after multiple compost tea, I'm starting to see some growth on my black futsu. The borage is popping up. The first year that I planted borage out back, it came up and then it died off, and so hopefully I'll get seeds from that. The ants, it's always a race around here to get my borage seeds. The ants love it, and I've read that it's medicinal, and I can't recall all of the medicinal properties because I'm not sick. So if it had something that it would help me with, then I would be more apt to remember that, of course. More blossoms coming in. The strawberry production has cut back, but now the plants are going to push more flowers. More flowers equals more strawberries. And here, I'll give you a better shot of those. You saw them last year, are those beautiful purple blossoms on the Meaux Endive. I'm really, really shocked at how big and full the seed heads are coming in on the parsley Hamburg Rooted, and I've already started to see the butterflies, the black swallowtail likes the Florence fennel, and parsley and cilantro. They're same family, the parsley cilantro. And here we have the passion flower, which that's the original over there, which Michael weed whacked, and it's coming back, but it's spread, so it must send runners under the ground. because I didn't see any fruit on it last year. People said that this fruit is tropical, and so I'm looking forward to tasting it. I've heard that it's a battle with the critters to be able to harvest fruit from that, but since it's so close to the house, I really don't anticipate that. The Casa banana gets extremely large, and I said I was going to do this, and I went ahead and did it. And I dug down really deep and got the manure and compost down deep with the hopes of retaining the water. And it's caged, but there's one in there right now. And then further over on that fence line. Let me sneak through here. I should do some trimming to clear the pathway. And I'm going to try to build this up and create a well and keep this fig tree heavily watered. It will drop its fruit if the supply isn't good enough, isn't steady. So there is the other spot. And I'm going to do some of the French cantaloupe up there to provide ground cover for the Casa banana that's going to take over that fence rail. And I'm going to run one to the left and one to the right. This was my project over a couple of days. I did a really kind of makeshift redneck fence off back here. And that's so I could allow the pups out the door, out back, so they could be unattended for a little bit of time if I can't get to it immediately and they really need to get out. And back here I cleared out this bed and did some trimming. And there's the sprinkler system is hooked up back here. And this gets a little bit of that early morning sun, almost direct afternoon, and then it gets shaded towards the late afternoon. And I'm going to try some tomatoes and other varieties back here to see how that works out. Maybe some of the larger varieties of tomatoes. But this was all cleared out, dug down really, really deep. And then the spongy wood was put in, manure, compost, amendments, and then buried. And it is holding water very well for me. We are consistently hitting the high 80s and low 90s right now. And this is just the beginning. Third week in May, fourth week in May, it's going to be Hades hot, as I call it. The runner bean up here next to the sage. Very, very nice growth. And same thing with everything else. You know, the chard and the last of the lettuce, so I'm going to come out and harvest that. And I put in a root that I had in the house, and I couldn't identify it. I don't know if it was turmeric or, and there's the pup eating it, or ginger root. It was quite shriveled. I didn't even know if it had any life in it. But look at this beauty. All over the place. Tough little things to crack open to get the seeds. The seeds are white little flecks. And here we have these monster cucumbers. These are the ones that I said that could get up to 5 pounds. A 5-pound cucumber. How glorious is that going to be? There we go. There's my first female. I actually pollinated her with 2 flowers from the specimen to the left and the right. They're the best specimens that had nice male flowers on them. So this was the other gift from my girlfriend, and this is a Cherokee purple tomato. And I've grown these before, and they're quite wonderful. And unique color, good flavor, nice texture. And there's the other one. And then the other one here. So thank you, Vivian. Greatly appreciate it. And potatoes, purple potatoes of some sort. Amaranth just really taking off. The volunteer tomato. Everything's doing great. The additional compost and mushroom compost and manure this year just is doing me right. Finally seeing some good growth. They're catching up. These are the subarctics. They're catching up to those emerald apples. And the black hopi in here have all sprouted. I had a cage over this and to protect it from the pups, but they ended up tromping on that anyway, so I figured I'd just lift the cage. This is a volunteer watermelon. Gotta come out. Vivian, maybe you take the volunteer watermelons. And here's the chufa grass. There were 4 nuts. Hi, Bear. There were 4 nuts put in here, and 3 of them have germinated so far. There's 1, and then 2, and then 3. And it was like a 1 by 1 foot square, and I did it at the corners. See, hardly any red strawberries in here. But the flowering is beginning. Nice growth on the Alibabas. And I think I must have had a raider in the back to my seeds for the Alibabas back here. The first patch that I had sowed direct, maybe 8, 9 seeds, only 1 sprouted. And then I looked through and I couldn't find any seed. And all the other mounds are bare, but then the second sowing, all 4 sprouted. Here we go. Very nice. I also did a casa banana up there by the watermelon that I'm going to run over the shed. And there's another one that I'm going to run up the base of this pine tree. I might actually put some things in there. I don't know how it grabs on, how well it grabs on, to what size trellis it needs. But I'm going to take it up that. This was a few hours project. I did the same thing, dug down really deep, amended about 1 foot down to 1.5 feet, then covered it. And this is getting ready for the second round of the tomatoes. And here's potatoes keep popping up. They're about 6-7 inches out of the ground. Sometimes I just get, sick of just covering. I just let them go. I don't really do too much with potatoes, even though they're fabulous. The wildflowers from up front got thinned into this area quite a bit. Nice growth in here. Sprinkler, the hoses and the sprinkler heads are all out. And then over the weekend, the timer's going to get set. The Hopi squash are taking off. The other round of yellow prolific that are up front, which have baby fruit on them, are coming up back here as well. The corn is, some are about 9 to 10 inches and some are well over 1 foot. And there we have the big bed of the black hopi and a pot of the tomatoes back here. This is the Mediterranean. It's going to get some afternoon shade here because this is one of the biggest tomatoes I've ever grown. Doesn't produce a lot of fruit, but they're just gigantic and I really enjoy them. The pecan tree transplanted nice and the chalu filled out. And we have the direct sow of Hopi standing tall at this point. And this is casa banana, 3 of them in there. Kind of starts out looking like a watermelon plant. And all of the French cantaloupe germinated. And this is being taken over by Cleavers. Easy. And Cleavers is also medicinal. There's also lots and lots of basil in here. And there's even some, you know, in the patch. Where is it? I don't know. It's hard for me to tell what it's. There it is. But I'm going to let the cleavers in there. It's low lying and it doesn't do too much, you know. Here's the borage in the back. And this is a large variety of heirloom tomato that I got from an elderly woman from Tennessee. So this is my surprise tomato for the year. These are the Marians. Priority, besides getting the timers up and running this weekend, tomato steaks. I have to run and get some wood and cut those. And I went a little overboard on sowing the ground cherries, both in pots and direct sow. So Vivian, if you want to try some of those, you come by and get those. Here are the Alibaba that I said this is the second sowing, sprouted. And this was the first sowing, and there's only one. So I'm going to come back out here today and try that again. The perpetual spinach chard needs to be thinned, and I'm just seeing lots and lots of volunteer amaranth out. More borage, black futsu. This is the last third sowing of the Hopi. My okra has sprouted, some of it. So I put the hay straw from back there. Nice growth on the ground cherries that were easy. Oh no, hold on, gotta go.